What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Energizer Park as we are getting set for St. Louis City 2 taking on North Texas SC in a Western Conference showdown here in match week 13 of MLS Next Pro. Getting towards the end of May here, and as we check out the standings, St. Louis comes into this matchup third in the West. North Texas sits in ninth. St. Louis with just one loss at home this season, a place that North Texas has never won. Let's meet our starting lineups as we get set for kickoff, and we start with the home side. It's a pretty similar lineup to what they went with last time out. David Critchley has shifted into a four-back formation, and today at center back, it's the second appearance of the year for 16-year-old Owen Jorgensen, who made his first start in the season opener, broke his arm 3 minutes into the match, and this is his return to the pitch. A familiar 9 and 10 up top with Palmer Alt and Evan Carlock trying to continue developing their chemistry, and a big hitter on the right. Mekhi Joyner is back with 3 goals in 2 appearances in Next Pro this season. He is the second leading all-time scorer in this competition's history. Now let's go over to North Texas SC and take a look at their dynamic duo up top. That would be Natty James and Adu Nice. They are both tied for the lead in the Golden Boot race this year with 8 goals apiece. However, the rest of this squad, nobody has scored more than 1 goal. So that's kind of the big question for North Texas is how do you feed those two and who can help support them? Today they call on Ricky Lewis and Caleb Swan from the first team. Ian Charles back in the lineup in central midfield as well. And it's the Brazilian center back partnership of Leandro Gonçalves and Alvaro Augusto for the second straight match. John Gall without a couple of guys who've been playing quite a bit recently. Marlon Lucine, Jaden Contreras, Enzo Newman not in the squad for this one. And Slade Starnes still out with injury, but a very talented lineup up and down for both sides as North Texas comes in here with John Gall telling me there is no doubt in my mind that this will be the day we come away from St. Louis with the first win there at Energizer Park. All time, St. Louis leads this series 6-4-2. They were 3-0 last year, a perfect record against North Texas. But at home, St. Louis has been even more dominant, 4-0-2 all time. The best North Texas has done is take them to penalties. So the history certainly against the visitors here. And St. Louis and their great fans will be buoyed by seeing Mekhi Joyner back in the lineup. He's been called into the United States under-20 national team, and Critchley told me that this match will be somewhat of a warm-up for him to get him going before he plays for the Stars and Stripes. Just about set for kickoff between City 2 and North Texas, with the home side in dark blue and the away team in North Texas traveling in white. Parker Johnson here with you on MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball for the next 90 minutes and whatever may come after, as Riley Lynch is on the ball early. That strategy of going long from the kickoff paying some dividends for City 2. Lynch is going to be in a different position today. He is one of the leading assist men in MLS Next Pro so far this season, but he will start at right back. It's through the legs, and it's looking for Adu Nice. The ball through from Caleb Swan nearly found him. A creative entry, but it's booted away by the back line of City 2, and the offside flag was up anyways. But an early look at how things may be a little different here for City 2 with Lynch in at right back, an attack-minded player. And, you know, he started the season at right wing back for St. Louis. Had a little bit of success there, and he's really settled in as a winger since they've switched to that four-back formation where he is an all-out winger. He played as a wingback in the 3-4-3, but shifting into the back four, he will be tasked as an all-out right back playing behind Mekhi Joyner. When he does jump into the attack, that is going to be quite the fearsome duo up that side. But you can see North Texas on their first counter punch trying to hit the space in behind them. Gonçalves making his second straight start at center back for North Texas. It's an all-Brazilian duo with he and Alvaro Augusto. As Pearson chases back and plays it to Colin Welsh, who steps into goal, replacing McPartlin between the sticks for St. Louis. McPartlin only giving up one goal the last time out, as St. Louis traveled to face LAFC and fell in the shootout after a 1-1 draw through regulation. 2 goals in the first half, 2 red cards in the second half. Quite the dramatic match that David Critchley said could have gone either way. It's always going to feel like a loss when you end by losing in the shootout, but overall he was really happy with the performance and a tough result on the road against an LAFC team that had pretty much its full selection of players available, including some first-teamers, while St. Louis City 2 was very much playing with a second-choice squad. Played forward to Ricky Lewis, swerving in from the right, gets off a shot. Torquato on the follow, and that is a sweet double save from Welsh. He feels it stinging in his right wrist, and it's a corner for North Texas. Once again, showing their ability to thrive in transition. They can create chances in just a couple passes moving up the field. And they've set up this corner for Edu Nice. He's got 5 assists this season. Momentary chance comes to nothing for North Texas. Able to capitalize on the set piece. Ball played over the top, looking for Joyner, who shrugs off the tackle from Alvaro. Riley Lynch joins him in attack. A step over and a swerve. As it comes back to Adeteye Gabadehan before being knocked away by Torquato, the North Texas left back. And Alvaro's still feeling it from that 50-50 challenge with Joyner. He's gone down in the penalty area for North Texas. Alvaro, a player with Brazilian and Portuguese roots. Kind of bounced between the first and the second team. Twice as many appearances with North Texas as he did for FC Dallas last season. And he's had to slide in out of necessity since Slade Starnes went down, who was excellent at center back the start of the season for John Gall's bunch. City 2 with the regain. Working on the left is Barkley. Fires in across. And it didn't stay in play for Makai Joyner. Alvaro still stretching things out as Demora gets set to take this goal kick. Last time out, North Texas saying goodbye to Choctaw Stadium, place they've called home since their inception in MLS Next Pro. Played there while they were a League One club as well. In total, 84 home matches there, scoring 172 goals, over 2 per match, and of course taking home that 2024 MLS Next Pro Cup, which came by way of defeating St. Louis in the Western Conference Final. A game that finished 3-0 after going to extra time scoreless. North Texas just hit fire and rolled into the final that year. Poked into the middle, shot by Wagner, rattling the post and drawing some oohs and ahs from the crowd as City 2 go again. Nice, the Belgian, taking over, unable to keep it close enough to the advancing Caleb Swan. Cut back towards Carlock. Two of the most thrilling attacks in MLS Next Pro. North Texas, 22 goals scored in their 12 matches. St. Louis with 23 goals in their 12 matches. Two teams who have both conceded 17 goals as well. So you kind of expect to see the ball hit the back of the net a few times. But what will be all important is the first goal. North Texas this season, when scoring first, has not lost a game. And when conceding first, has not been able to come back and win. So whoever scores first here will really set the tone. Lynch on the overlap. Cut out by Alvaro. Comes back to the feet of Makai Joyner. Swiveling, working on Garcia, who sticks a foot in strongly. Garcia slight in frame, but massive in his importance to this North Texas team. He's found himself out on the left just due to the players available and the return of a few midfielders for John Gall. Gabadehan gets past the sliding challenge, slots it middle. Carlock had a free shot and dragged it into the turf. St. Louis knocking on the door in the opening 10 minutes. Joyner free again on the wing. Pokes it through. Wins the duel with Garcia. Gabadehan flashed across goal. Header from the backside was Jamon Barclay barging in. Out for a goal kick, but a heavy spell of pressure from the home team. And a thrilling start here at Energizer Park. 83 degrees today. Some showers sprinkling on and off this afternoon in St. Louis. But you can see from the way the fans are gathered behind the goal, a lot of people finding some cover up under the overhang there in the stadium. Place that has proven such a fortress for St. Louis, but they did drop their last home match here to Houston Dynamo Dos. No shame in that this year, the Western Conference leaders. It has been a torrid stretch of opponents that St. Louis has had to face. Thinking back to their last three matches, it was Houston at home, it was Austin on the road, who are number 2 in the standings, and it was LAFC on the road, who are number 4 in the standings, with St. Louis bunched in between them at number 3. So you've played 3 of the other top 4 in the last couple of games, and you can see how St. Louis has not won a match since April 26th. But Critchley did feel like that result against LA was a turnaround game for his team. They need to keep North Texas out, and that's a tough task with Garcia in on goal, trying to cut it back. Natty James, edge of the area, working with Nice. It's back to James. Gabadehan covering the ground so well. English midfielder got his second start of the season last time out against LA. Critchley going back to him in the lineup today, thinking that he could be a potential antidote for that dangerous midfield of North Texas. Said he's a player whose physical profile they really like, number 54 in midfield. Didn't play his best soccer through the first half of the season, but he's coming on lately, and as he continues to sharpen his abilities on the ball, could be a real asset for Critchley's team. Lynch running at Garcia. Couldn't find the right channel for Carlock. Nice drops out to the left to pick up possession. Got to run through the middle. Swan on the turn. Nice shows short. Limited numbers in attack at the moment for North Texas as the blue shirts scramble back and get all their bodies behind the ball. These are the positions that John Gall wants his North Texas team to take up more often this season. Been known over the past couple years, even in their title-winning season, as more of a transitional side, one that doesn't always prioritize possession. He wants to find these overloads as they get settled in the attacking half. Nice goes to Torquato. See what they're looking for. Cutbacks from the end line. And as St. Louis break out, there's a harsh foul on the halfway line. Referee's going to keep his pocket in his book here, Corbin May. A card in his pocket, I should say. End-to-end stuff through 15 minutes. So glad that you've joined us here on MLSNextPro.com. One football, first of 5 matches taking place today on a lovely stagger for those who like to keep an eye on this wonderful division. Yeah, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 10 o'clock kickoffs Eastern time today. This is one of 2 Western Conference showdowns. And you got the nightcap at 10 o'clock. MLS officially off for the World Cup now, so just the academy kids in play, and that's why you'll see a few first-teamers littered throughout both of these sides. Guys who haven't necessarily been playing the requisite number of minutes with the first team to where they were overly excited to have the break, and instead able to use this time to sharpen their skills with the second team, the likes of Torquato and Swan, Ricky Lewis, guys who are on first team deals, but still looking for that valuable professional experience early in their careers. Zamora has it in goal. Garcia pressured and facing his own net, able to get out of it. Good combination play from North Texas. The build from back to front. James went a little early. He wanted that ball more towards the corner. City 2 is a team that is so intentional about the way that they move throughout the season and give their players milestones to focus on. David Critchley, a big believer in breaking the season down into 5-game blocks when possible. Long ball won't find Lewis. And for each of those 5-game blocks, Critchley likes to point out one stat or one target that they would like the team to hit and improve on, and then also highlight one thing that the team has been doing well that they want to continue to make an advantage for them. A point of excellence, if you will. One thing that they were really happy with heading into their current block of games was their speed and possession, their ability to move it side to side and manipulate opponents, not just keeping the ball, but be able to shift it with purpose. Joyner latching on to the loose ball, cutting in for his left, blocked away by Alvaro. You could hear the anticipation of the crowd as Mekhi Joyner got into that position. "35 goals for Joyner in his next pro career. The second most in the history of this competition. Still just 19 years of age. Ian Charles dropping between the center backs for North Texas as they build out. We'll use a few different shapes. You'll see their outside backs go high and wide like you find Torquato here on the left, but they float in and out of the game as well. Swan plays it to the outside. Knocked through for Nice. Another offside against North Texas. St. Louis has been alert, stepping up their line proactively. And they've been able to catch the North Texas forwards out a couple of times. So far, 4 shots for St. Louis, 3 for North Texas. An even matchup through 21 minutes. And a couple times on both ends, we've seen attacks that looked very promising that didn't even end up resulting in a shot. Think of that snatched effort from Carlock on the pullback for St. Louis. That last one from Joyner that was blocked. St. Louis already hitting the woodwork once as well with Wagner. James moves it forward. Gets the return from Adu Nice. Those top goal scorers working the 1-2. There's no hiding those names at the top of the scouting report. David Critchley told me he made some adjustments to his starting lineup with the aim of keeping tabs on Nice and James, who often like to find pockets on the right side of the field. So he tried to load up the St. Louis left with some more defensive players. Pearson, 1v1 against Natty James, who breezes past him. the Trinidad International, unable to find a cutback. Swan was the man in the middle. That is the one challenge. You need somebody else to fill that center forward spot when James does approach from the wing. So much fluidity to the North Texas front line. Torquato had to get that right. Sees it out before Joyner can latch on. Here's Jorgensen. The other benefit for St. Louis, getting Jorgensen back to his center back position, healthy on the field yet again, is it allows Wagner to go to his more natural center midfield position. He's the only player for St. Louis who has started every match this season, but he's been needed in multiple areas, definitely more at home in the center of the park. Skimmed header from Alt. Trickles through for Makai Joyner. Lynch dipping. Diving past. Lynch into the box. Near post shot. Swatted away. Eric Demora comes up with the save. Great interplay at the top of the penalty box. Corner on the way for City 2. Carlock goes for the cross. Nice can't get it out of the corner, and it will be another set-piece opportunity. Uh-oh. Where'd the ball go? Thought they might have had a souvenir. But they'll get a great view of this corner from Makai Joyner. Lofted in towards the back post. Demora going down. Foul coming out, favoring North Texas as the goalkeeper was impeded. Somehow, here after 25 minutes and change, still scoreless. Torquato using his body well to fend off Lynch. He settles for the throw. Charles taken down by Gabadehan. It's the fourth straight start of the season for Ian Charles, 19-year-old, who we've seen play at center back, center mid. Very versatile presence in there. Played last year with North Texas and then went off and spent a year at UCLA. Only made 2 appearances in the fall for the Bruins, and now back signed as a pro to the second team. Charles on the ball now. Grew up in the DC United Academy. Born originally in Florida, so he's been a little bit everywhere. But you could tell over recent matches the type of presence he brings, especially in the build. He has that versatility to drop between the center backs. Very comfortable when he's facing his own goal, dishing it out to the center backs, the outside backs in that build. And given his defensive background and his size, a great weapon against the ball as well. He's needed here as Joyner goes towards the edge of the penalty area. He's taken down, but no whistle from Corbin May. This is where North Texas springs to life. James. Lewis is onside. He runs past Nice, who scampers towards the middle. Lewis cuts it across. A little too far. As Swan stuck the leg out, did everything he could to get there. Another North Texas counter that looked really promising. Doesn't result in a shot. Alt drops in to receive. City 2's leading goal scorer working the combination. It goes out to Joyner. Lewis, nothing but green grass ahead of him. Big touch into space, challenging Pearson. Gets his angles right, and the captain is able to fend it away from the Haitian winger, Ricky Lewis. Number 2 overall pick in the 2026 MLS Super Draft out of Georgia Southern, Ricky Lewis. At Southern, he scored 9 goals, 3 assists last season. He had a brace against Marshall. But the opportunities have been relatively limited for him with the first team after making his debut in March. Lynch sets it for Barclay. Shot comes in from Joyner. North Texas doing well to get bodies in the way. And once again, there's numbers. Natty James all alone. Misses the far post. Nice was desperate for the cutback. Another chance goes to waste for North Texas SC. Can St. Louis make them regret it? I mean, the pictures there tell the story about Adu Nice, a player who wears his heart on his sleeve and has been wearing the captain's armband since Slade Starnes has been injured. This ball stays in play. Alt flicks it back to Gans. Wagner. Swung in. Edge of the 6. Alt plays it back. Headed behind by Alvaro. St. Louis earned the corner. And Nice still having a word with Natty James. Hard to fault James for taking that on himself. He's got 8 goals in his last 8 appearances, Natty James. Not that Adu Nice has been any slouch in that time frame either. Angled in. Carlock. The eyes lit up, but the technique couldn't quite follow. Charles will join his goalkeeper again as North Texas build out. Gans coming through. I think that's a Dunice who went down. Draws a yellow card on the St. Louis left back, which will definitely be a concern as this match continues. He's on that side with Ricky Lewis, Natty James. And really not a necessary challenge at the halfway line, as North Texas was just trying to lump a ball long out of the back. Garcia left for Nice. Torquato couldn't get there ahead of Riley Lynch, who did some good recovery defending. That's a neat pass from Gabadehan, clipping it over the top, but Joyner happy to rest on it for the moment and get the numbers forward for City 2. Breathless stuff through 34 minutes, yet to find the goal. Barclay. Alt drives into the penalty box. Kind of issue off the ball here. That's Ian Charles, player who went down for North Texas. Palmer Alt may have been involved there, but not exactly sure what went down. Jorgensen. Played back into an awkward position by Pearson. They've got the goalkeeper as an outlet. In slides North Texas. Now the pressure is broken. Connects with Alt on the interior. Back to Palmer Alt. Pokes it forward. Alt from a tight angle. And Demora toes it behind. No, it will be a goal kick. No save from the goalkeeper, who has been forced to come up big a couple of times today. Given right back to Wagner. Carlock by himself. Went for the unselfish play and tried to cut it back to Palmer Alt. Might have been better off taking the shot himself, Carlock. 18 years old, out of the St. Louis City 2 Academy. This is just his third start of the season. But David Critchley telling me that he wanted to keep developing the partnership that is forming between Alt and Carlock by keeping them together in the starting lineup. Even with Makai Joyner coming back in. James in a Caribbean showdown with the Jamaican center back Pearson, who is all over it. Foul through the back of Alts as Garcia a bit too strong in the tackle. Yellow card is out. That is David Critchley down there. They got the call, but something else has gotten under the skin of the City 2 manager as Joyner gets us back in play. Trying to find a teammate at the back post. Easy pickings for the North Texas defense. In the half space, Barkley. Out and behind for a corner. Just over 5 minutes remaining in our first half before we hit stoppage time. Still scoreless between third place City 2 and ninth place North Texas. Their first meeting of the season, 13th meeting of all time. North Texas has never won here. Played in by DeGans. Pearson flicks it backwards where it's tracked down by Lynch. Bringing in Charles. Hooking it into the box. An awkward scramble. Finally cleared by North Texas. Gibson gets it out. And there was an offside. Whistled against City 2. Texas has defended their box very well. 8 crosses coming in from St. Louis. Not a single cross from North Texas on the offensive end, but defensively they've dealt with all 8 pretty convincingly. Garcia's in an offside position here, surely, and up goes the flag. St. Louis has been playing a very high line, nearly putting themselves in hot water a couple of times, but they've come through unscathed. North Texas is probably one of the last teams you'd think to do that against, but they have tempted them into some mistimed passes. Oh, that's a great touch from Carlock. As he shifts it out to Barkley. Low ball in the direction of Alt. Falls to the feet of Ian Charles. Now it's Lewis doing some defending. Risky ball back. Torquato just had to push it out towards the left wing. And now Joyner hobbling a little bit, but continuing to play on. Wagner shifts it over to Gabadehan. Demora loving the defensive effort. North Texas getting the goal kick. That's that dangerous pocket that Palmer Alt found himself in down in Los Angeles last weekend as they played LAFC2 and scored a brilliant solo goal. It was his first in about a month. Coming in with some real confidence, especially on the dribble. Now, James is onside. He's got another chance at goal. It's closed down by Lynch. North Texas continues on. James is going to have nightmares about this first half with the opportunities that he's had in front of goal, unable to put them away. It is an uncomfortable truth that for Natty James this season, he does have 8 goals, which is tied for the league lead. 7 of his 8 have come against Sporting Kansas City, who North Texas have already played 3 times this season. Can make a similar case for a Dunice, who has scored twice against them and provided 4 assists, most of them for James's goals against Sporting Kansas City. And you look at it from a wider lens as the tackle comes in, but North Texas able to win it away. Lewis going forward, decent ball through, draws out Welsh from goal. If you zoom out for North Texas, 22 goals scored this season. Half of them came against Sporting Kansas City in those 3 matches. 2 of their 4 wins this season have come against Sporting Kansas City. So when you do consider the overall body of work for the visitors here, they have been propped up by those matchups against one of the bottom teams in the West, both individually and as a team. But you take your points where you can get them. More than halfway through our 1 minute of added time here in the first half. Looks like we just might make it to halftime scoreless. After a combined 15 shots, 4 on goal. St. Louis has hit the woodwork, and a number of chances gone begging. Is launched up by Demora, and Corbin May draws us to the half. So 0-0 between St. Louis and North Texas. A matchup that has seen lots of goals over the years and some fantastic 90-minute games. But we are through 45, and our score at the half is 0-0. Coming up at our halftime show, we go back to the Northeast for another player pathway success story, plus highlights and stats after this brief timeout.
They say the world's game is played everywhere. This is how we play it here. Every weekend across North America. From Vancouver's mountain rain to the shores of Florida. From the City of Angels to the Heartland. The world's brightest stars light up our fields. Let's go. And our fans bring the world to life. In every language, in every city. One game, one roar. Sold out nights under lights. New soccer citadels rising from coast to coast. Every chant, every goal, another brick in a growing relief. Now, the world's biggest stage comes to our home. And when they arrive, they'll find the game's heartbeat has been here all along.
Welcome back, everybody. Halftime in St. Louis and still scoreless after 45 minutes. Well, New England homegrown player Peyton Miller is another success story in the MLS Next Pro ranks. Let's revisit his story in this halftime feature.
A lot of upside, a huge ceiling for this young kid.
You're going to like him a lot. His name is Peyton Miller. This is great stuff again. Oh, my goodness.
Force away through here. Ball to the back post. It's awkward and it's thrust in towards goal.
From Unionville, Connecticut to stepping on the field in Major League Soccer, Peyton Miller's journey is just getting started.
I'm from Connecticut. I grew up in Unionville. Growing up, I trained a lot with my dad. My dad is mostly the reason for where I am today. When I was like 7, I won a championship for my travel team with my dad as a coach, and I kind of just fell in love with it from there.
As Peyton began to excel as a player, he began receiving attention from multiple clubs.
I started at FSAFC, and then I wanted to excel my game a little bit more, so then I went to Oakwood. And then from there, we played teams like New England Revolution, Philadelphia Union, and then the Revs reached out, and it was my childhood dream to play for the Revs, so it was kind of an easy decision for me to make to come here.
When I arrived at the Revs as a new employee, the staff was telling me about a young man named Peyton Miller. And so right away I went and did as much research as I could, and when I watched him play one time, it was like, wow, this kid is special. Just the way he moved, the way he was working with the ball, the way he looked around naturally. I knew as well as others knew this kid had something inherently in him that we wanted to be around.
Dreams don't come without sacrifice. At just 13, Peyton had to leave his family and friends behind to pursue soccer full-time.
It was hard not being able to be with my parents and not being able to see friends, but it was the sacrifices that I had to make to live this dream. And before that, a year earlier, my parents had to drive 2 hours every single day from Connecticut to Foxborough just so that I can make training, and I'm very grateful for that.
Moving into the Academy's residency program gave Peyton access to top-level training and gave him a platform to continue growing.
And our world structure is everything, because players they're learning so much. There's academics, there's social development, there's physical development, there's goals, there's outside pressures already, there's social media. So what we need to do is we need to provide structure to allow these players to chase their dreams, but chase their dreams with guidelines and helpful. And then when they need a little something extra, we're there for them to help them navigate whatever's in front of them.
By 15, Peyton's hard work paid off. He signed a homegrown contract with the Revolution, and he made his professional debut with Revolution 2 in 2023.
It was against Atlanta. I had a couple good chances, good balls for an assist or a goal maybe. That should have happened, but I was very nervous in the beginning, but as soon as the whistle blew, it kind of just all went away, and all I could feel was just like the adrenaline rush.
Playing against older and stronger players forced Peyton to adapt quickly.
I didn't want the guys like babying me because I was young. I wanted them to tell me how it really was, and they really understood that, and like they weren't afraid to yell at me if I did something wrong, and that's what helped me get to the next level.
His performances that season with Revs 2 opened the door to an opportunity with the first team.
At the end of our season with the second team, they gave me the chance to come train with the first team, and then a little bit previous of that, that's when I signed my homegrown contract. So that was a very big step. You know, the speed of play was crazy when I got to the first team, but I got used to it for a little bit, and then that's when the off season hit, and then that's when I really started to like train, and I came back for the preseason, and I was ready for it.
Soon after came the moment he'd been dreaming of since childhood, his MLS debut at just 16 years old, making him the second youngest player in club history to make his debut.
Another interesting debut here. Obviously, all the talk about Kevin Sullivan, but Peyton Miller will make his MLS debut, the 16-year-old from Unionville, Connecticut.
My parents made the trip to Philly so they could see me play, and I kind of knew before the game that like this might be the game that I come in, because they told me that week that I'll probably get in that game. But I was nervous stepping to the line, but Caleb just said to me, like, have fun. This is what you love to do. Just go out there and be a kid. And that's what I did. As soon as I stepped on the field, everything just went away, and it was just me on the ball.
For Peyton and his family, it was a moment of pride.
They were all excited. You know, I got a lot of texts from everyone, Instagram stories, all that type of stuff. Everyone just saying that they're proud of me. It was kind of just like a full circle moment, being able to represent the badge and represent my family, my friends, and knowing that all the hard work that I put in, the sacrifices that my parents made, paid off.
4 days later, Peyton would make his full MLS debut against FC Dallas.
Okay. Miller. Goal. Bobby Wood! Courtesy of the 16-year-old Miller. The Revs to the lead.
Peyton hasn't just made waves at the club level. He's also become a mainstay in the U.S. youth national team setup, earning call-ups from the U-15s through the U-23s. He featured in all 4 matches at the 2023 FIFA Under-17 World Cup, and later represented the United States at the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup as one of the youngest players on the roster.
As a staff, when Peyton debuted with the 17s and went on, we all have these Slack channels, and his pictures coming up from different players snapping the TV going, there's our friend, there's our teammate, there's our guy, and then other coaches. It was really endearing just to be together. It was because we were actually on the road for a game as an academy staff, and that was amazing. And then to see the whole transformation of where he goes and what he's done, we couldn't be more proud.
Peyton hopes his story can be a blueprint for success for the next generation of Revolution players.
It means a lot to me, you know, like to have younger kids look up to me, and some kids will come up to me and ask me like, what'd you do to get where you're at? And I kind of just tell them like it takes sacrifice and effort, and you just have to be willing to put in the work. But there's a lot of kids that come up to me, and I always tell them like, don't be afraid to come up and talk to me. Like, I was once where you're at, like don't be afraid.
MLS recently agreed to a deal that will see global investment firm KKR make a strategic investment and partner with MLS Next Pro. KKR will inject capital into MLS Next Pro with an eye on growing the league and its footprint around the continent. In conjunction with MLS, the partnership will oversee commercial strategy as it looks to move the 27 MLS-affiliated Next Pro teams into new markets, with an eye on building brands within those communities and seeking stadium development deals. We will hear more about this in the coming seasons. We are still at halftime here in St. Louis. First game to kick off today on Saturday, but there are a number of other games happening this weekend. A couple last night, a few more on Sunday. So let's take a look around at the scores and schedules in match week 13 of MLS Next Pro. So you got the results from last Sunday, which of course included that St. Louis City match against LAFC, a deep penalty shootout, and then the 2 games last night with Sporting Kansas City picking up a win against Real Monarchs, 3-1 there in the West. A big result as we continue to shake up the standings heading into June. And now we'll check out the upcoming schedule for the rest of the weekend. We do have a few more games kicking off later tonight. Momentarily, we'll see Carolina Core and Red Bulls 2. A couple more games. And then on Sunday, that is tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, we start with Timbers taking on Tacoma Defiance. Big-time rivalry matchup in the Pacific Northwest. And then round it up with Orlando City B and Chattanooga FC. So after 45 minutes of play, here are your halftime highlights. We take you through the first half of action, and really there was a lot going on both ways. It was North Texas who had the first opportunity. A smart save there by Colin Welsh to push it out to his right and not allow anything too dangerous on the rebounds. This was as close as St. Louis came. Struck off the post by Jack Wagner from the top of the area. Then some great interplay involving Riley Lynch, drawing a save out of Eric DeMora at his near post. And Natty James unable to make the most of a couple of opportunities in transition. So that wraps it up for our halftime highlights and scoreless at the break. We will step aside one more time. After that, second half kickoff is coming your way, so don't go anywhere.
Boys hear sentiment, flow tastes sweet like cinnamon. Open up doors, I'm a gentleman. View top floor, I'm still staying ahead of them. Running on fumes and adrenaline. Do what I do best, can rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet. Don't ask questions, trying to figure out what sound. Don't worry about what next, just wanna know what's next. Man, I say it so loud. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now. Oh yes, man, I say it oh so proud. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Just moments away from the start of the second half here at Energizer Park, the home of St. Louis City 2. Still looking for their first win in over a month. And they will need to score at least one goal in the second half to make that happen. Our halftime score is 0-0 between City 2 and North Texas SC. Was a match that featured 15 shots in the first half. A very balanced attacking showing from both sides. But they are looking for that difference maker in the second half. Makai Joyner joining St. Louis City 2 today. Unable to find the opening breakthrough, but he's got 3 goals in just 2 matches this season with the second team. So he is a player to certainly keep an eye on, depending how long he stays out there in the second half. Worth noting for St. Louis, that they've got a bunch of young guys on the bench. 4 potential professional debuts as they've brought in 4 players from the under-16 academy team, kind of trying to bridge the gap here in this awkward period where the first team is away, but their U19 team is off at the MLS Next Cup, and they have made it all the way to the U19 finals, which take place tomorrow out in Salt Lake City. So a few players kind of in and out, and that has given an opportunity to stash the bench with some academy players. So if they do take off Joyner or some others here, we may see some debuts in the second half as CITY2 tries to continue that pathway to pro. That is the foundation of this league. MLS Next Pro, match week 13. Parker Johnson here with you as we get started for the second half between St. Louis and North Texas. No subs to report as we come out of the halftime break. Both teams sticking with the strong starting 11s. For North Texas, that features some first-teamers like Ricky Lewis, Caleb Swan, Joshua Torquato. And of course, the star attacking duo of Adonis and Natty James, who were at the end of a little bit of a disconnect on their last big chance of the first half. See if they've wrinkled out the kinks at halftime. And it looks like Makai Joyner has switched flanks. So he's in combination now with DeGans. Palmer Alt with a tight circle to turn. Gibson catches up to the through ball, but this will be pulled back for the earlier foul and a yellow card as well. Dished out to Ian Charles of North Texas. That was for the challenge on DeGans, I think, as he played the ball forward to Alt. That'll be the first North Texas player to go in the referee's notebook. You had DeGans himself picking up a yellow in the first half, as well as David Critchley on the St. Louis touchline. DeGans. Rolling it for Joyner. Now the lefty working on the left side, so he will be inclined to take it to the touchline rather than trying to cut inside and look for a shot on goal. A little bit of a different look coming out of the half for St. Louis. And so since he has switched over to the left, that means Jamon Barkley, who started on the left wing, is out on the right now. One constant on the right is Riley Lynch, who advances forward, knocks it back for a corner. Been very active from the right back position, getting forward, getting involved, doing all the things that Coach Critchley loves about his game. We had an interesting conversation earlier in the year about how Lynch has learned to go from wing back to winger. Played across goal and tapped in. The opener for St. Louis. Carlock will claim it. The energy off the charts at Energizer Park. Hard to say that it wasn't coming. And if Carlock did indeed get that last touch, that is the second goal of the season after he scored and assisted on the opening day against Sporting Kansas City 2. Let's take another look here. It's the reverse run coming around the corner, a neat set-piece routine. I think it goes off a North Texas player in the end. Ian Charles was defending the front post, but it's Carlock's ball in from the corner. So we go back to live action here. And St. Louis smelling some blood in the water, perhaps. Getting the crowd engaged. Tarps off down in the front row. A rainy day in St. Louis, but that has not dampened the spirit one bit. Place that has proved to be tough travels for North Texas over the years. No wins, 4 losses. They've gone to penalties twice in away games against St. Louis. They've got more than enough firepower to figure out some kind of response. Created a ton of chances in the first half. Didn't quite execute. Over the top, looking for Lewis. Well played by Welsh to get it out, but they can throw it quickly and catch the goalkeeper out, possibly. Good recovery. Gotta say, that was a new one, going back to that set piece that they drew up for the goal. I've watched a lot of soccer over the years, and the double overlapping run causing some confusion. Carlock was able to drive it in at the near post. Credit to the St. Louis staff. Drawing up a great dead ball routine. Played across here by CITY2. The shot comes off from Barkley. Wasn't able to keep it down and on target. CITY2 forwards ready to sprint into the penalty box as North Texas play it out from the goal kick. It's a soft pass given back to Barkley. Pass through looking for Joyner. Nudged off by Gibson. Well defended to get in the way of the devastating forward without causing too much contact, where Corbin May might have considered blowing for a penalty kick there. When conceding first, North Texas 0-4-1 this season. They have not been able to turn it around for a win on one single occasion. They have gotten it to penalties once. Joyner, one-on-one with Gibson. Goes towards his left. Gibson knew it, able to shepherd him down towards the end line. Joyner holds on to it, goes back with Wagner. Now DeGans. Plays the 1-2 with Palmer. Alt. Alt. Plays it across. North Texas hardly have gotten out of their own half since we restarted for the second period. Now a foul against the visitors, drawn by Wagner, setting up an angled free kick. Looks like Joyner will go over there to send it in. So if you got back late from halftime, you may have missed the 48th minute goal there. It has been changed to an own goal for North Texas, with Gonsalves, the unfortunate defender, to earn the honor. But it was all created by Carlock off that corner. St. Louis have looked like the only team who are going to score since the game went to 1-0. Swung in across the 6. Volley comes from deep. DeGans, now Barkley on the follow. Carlock. Footwork getting trickier as the rain continues. Nice had one run ahead of him. Opts to wait for Swan. North Texas just in desperate need of a little bit of possession, and Nice could feel that as they were breaking forward. Torquato through the lines. Hesitates. Spreads it back out to the right. Nice trying to pick out Ricky Lewis. It's met by Welsh before it could reach the North Texas forward. Badehan brings in Riley Lynch. Hesitates. Shimmies. Can't get past Torquato. North Texas can't get out. Lynch fires in across. Alt header tipped over the top. A stellar save from Eric Demora. Nimble on his toes. It was a difficult one for Palmer Alt, who had to generate all the power on this header because the cross in from Lynch was floated in quite softly. He was reaching back for it, the leading scorer for City 2. Did enough to at least earn the corner. They scored from the last one, which they also took short. It's Alt. DeGans lashes at it wildly wide. Swan wasn't met by any midfield pressure from those in blue. Able to wander across to the left. Gall has placed a bigger emphasis recently on their shape and possession, keeping the ball in these positions so they can get those fullbacks high, create overloads on the wings, get into their attacking rotations. It's not always what North Texas has been known for, but it's an extra element to their game. Lewis, a one-man danger. Knocks it past two. There's some contact as he enters the penalty box. And Corbin May pointing to Makai Joyner saying he got the ball. He's got some moves too, but couldn't keep it in play. So we enter the 60th minute from Energizer Park. Both benches starting to consider some substitutions. See Richley and his staff checking out the iPad, making some notes. Nice. James clipped over. Garcia trying to get on the end of it. A little too strong on the pass from James, but that is better from North Texas, who have showed some spunk over the last couple of minutes in possession. Couple players on the St. Louis bench getting ready. Trying to inject some fresh legs into the contest. For now, it's Barkley holding off his man and drawing the foul. Joyner. DeGans loses his footing. That was an awkward tumble, but able to quickly pop back up. Moore clips it forward. Perfect ball for Nice, who sets it and runs. Quato comes in from the left. And Nice can't link up with Natty James. Their connection has not been firing. 8 goals apiece coming into today's match. Both tied for the joint lead in the Golden Boot standings as we play our final match of May. But when North Texas don't have it, it's been boom or bust this season. They have been shut out on 4 separate occasions. They've also scored multiple goals 8 times. They have never scored just 1 goal in a match this season. A slip from Gibson. Drawn back by Joyner. Only finds Torquato. But Nice immediately surrounded by 3 blue shirts. Nowhere for North Texas to go with it. And Demora will just lump it out. Kept in on the far side by Riley Lynch. MLS Next Pro's April Player of the Month. Joyner. Working on Gibson. Wagoner. Joyner drops the shoulder. DeGan's in behind. Alt for the pullback. Off to Joyner. Beautiful stuff, and it's 2-0 St. Louis. Makai Joyner, in his 3rd appearance for CITY2, notches his 4th goal of the season. St. Louis in full control, seeking their first win in over a month. We'll see the goal again here. It starts with Joyner. DeGans came into it and got it down the wing. As we'll see a couple of changes here after the second goal for St. Louis. It's going to be Lorenzo Cornelius on first, number 83. And following him is Kane Kraus, a 16-year-old academy player making his professional debut. Kraus had a hat trick and an assist in the final game of group play at the 2026 GA Cup. He's been called into the United States under-15 national team. So he comes on as a forward option here in his pro debut. Just moments after one of the real pride points of this City Academy struck home the second goal. Makai Joyner, the 36th of his MLS Next Pro career. Alt trying to add. It's Kraus, his first touch! And the rebound over the top. Cornelius, the other sub, almost finishing the play. And this game is really opened up for CITY2. Cornelius coming in for his 8th appearance of the year. Got his first start of the season and his first assist as a pro in the 1-1 draw against LAFC last time out. Natty James turning the corner on Pearson, who's trying to catch up. James draws it across. Collision with the goalkeeper. The referee has paused and signaled for a throw-in. North Texas wants a penalty. They also made a sub, by the way. It was Arayame coming in for North Texas. What a chaotic sequence. That could have really shaken this game back up. And it shows how, in a flash, Natty James can just change the course of any game he's playing in. Diego Garcia is the North Texas player down. 19-year-old homegrown out of El Paso. North Texas's all-time appearance leader with 78 throughout his young career. Just a remarkable number for the teenager. Arroyame now in for North Texas and on the ball. Passes off to Charles. Alvaro trying to drill it in low to the feet of a forward. Swan not happy with that decision as it's a foul against North Texas. Or rather, a drop ball came off of the referee. So North Texas can get it back here. 69th minute of play. Second half goals. The first created by Carlock, but it was an own goal from North Texas, followed up by Joyner, scoring with his final touch of the match as he returns to CITY2, trying to get some sharpness before he headed out to play for the United States under-20 national team during this break. Say a pretty good day's work for Joyner, making it 4 goals in 3 appearances in MLS Next Pro this year. And it was a beautiful goal at that. It'll go down as Palmer Alt's 5th assist of the season as well, to go with his 6 goals. Adu Nice on the ball for North Texas is the MLS Next Pro leader in total goal contributions with 13. So Alt is now just 2 behind him. For North Texas, Energizer Park continuing to be a house of horrors. They have never won here, and they'd need 3 goals in 20 minutes to break that trend. It all starts with 1. And right now, it's Ricky Lewis firing in across. All 3 North Texas players overran it, but it comes back to Nice. Near post shot. Wasn't too far away. Welsh was down to cover his near post. North Texas still have some life here. Ball through for Swan. Near post shot. Shaves the outside of the side netting. Great play there from Nice to set up his teammate. Nice is the league leader in overall chances created this season. And you could see why, because he had the run coming towards his left from Natty James, used his eyes to make the defenders think that's where he was going. But the whole time he saw Swan, who was in just as good of a position, could not apply the finishing touch. A couple of positional changes to make you aware of after the last round of St. Louis subs. It was Jorgensen who came off for the teenage striker in Klaus. So they had to, or Kraus rather, so they had to shake some things around. Wagner has dropped back to center back, which is where he was playing over the last couple of matches. Looks like Barkley has gone to left back, and DeGans has shifted into midfield to fill the spot left by Wagner in there. Alt. He is also helping a little deeper, some dazzling footwork. He's able to draw the foul, as we will get another change. And it's another one of the St. Louis U16s coming in. Eddie Niles, a hotly tapped prospect in the City Academy, replaces Jamon Barkley. That require some further shifts, but Eddie Niles, an attacking player, a USA under-16 international. Played with the under-16s in April, where he started in a friendly against England and notched an assist against Argentina. So he's done it on the world stage before. Now to do it in the MLS stadium. James all alone. Able to push it back for Torquato. 15 minutes for North Texas to muster up some kind of response. Drag back from Wagner. For Niles, it's the second appearance of his professional career. Did have a 14-minute spell last year. A 14-minute spell in the home opener this year against Sporting Kansas City. His pro debut, in fact, came last year, where he became the youngest player to appear for City 2 at just 14 years old. Alt. Space opening up through the middle. Niles on the run. Well watched by Gonsalves, giving Demora a chance to get out. Now the response for John Gall, as North Texas will make 2 substitutions. Caleb Swan and Natty James coming out. Daniel Barron and Humberto Pilar coming in. Pilar, number 6, a midfielder. Born in Belgium, raised in Italy, went to school at the University of Virginia, and was a second-round draft pick this year for FC Dallas. He is making his first appearance as a pro. Dealing with injuries since the preseason. It's been a big hole in North Texas's midfield. They've slowly gotten the numbers back, with Charles coming back to fitness. And it's gotten so stacked up in there that you see Garcia out on the left, and you see Nice playing in the front line, guys who have taken turns in midfield this season. But now starting to get back towards full strength in what they envisioned coming into the year. Pilar is a big prospect. John Gall describes him as a well-rounded Italian center midfielder, which, if you've followed the world's game throughout the years, there are plenty of fine examples of. Not to say he will immediately step in and be Andrea Pirlo or Nicolo Barella, but plenty of good guys to model his game after. And he played for Como as a young player, a club famously coached by Cesc Fabregas, the great Spanish midfielder. John Gall played as a number 6 back in his day as well. So no shortage of role models for Pilar in that midfield position. Oh, stoppage in play here in the 79th minute, as the players are retreating to the bench to turn this pause into a de facto water break. Players struggling on the left for North Texas. Guessing from the position that may be Torquato. And while we have this little break in play, let's take a look back at that second goal from St. Louis. It was a very well-worked play. It started with Makai Joyner, who has since been subbed. And then watch this combination into Alt, He feels Joyner on his back shoulder and then able to plant it in the roof of the net. A distinguished finish. And then, of course, had to hit him with the flip. The fans here at Energizer Park have seen that more times than they can count over the years. The 36th goal of Mekhi Joyner's MLS Next Pro career. One of the most entertaining players to watch that we have ever seen in this league. And the rare occasions these days that you see him with the second team, you just got to take it in and appreciate it, as all the fans did there. And that goal came about 15 minutes after the opener for St. Louis, which went down as an own goal by Leandro Gonçalves, the North Texas defender. And that is how we got to 2-0. And then just to clean up that last stoppage, it was Torquato on the far side who was having a tough time of things. He has been substituted out, and in came Samuel Sede, the 16-year-old forward for North Texas. Sede with 2 starts, 7 appearances on the year, yet to register a goal or an assist. Shot comes in from the edge of the 18-yard box. Well caught there by Demora. Garcia. Lewis holding off the defender, waiting for help to arrive. Sede was moving through the right channel. His pocket from behind. Looks like Lewis has taken up the center forward spot since the departure of Natty James, who will surely be on the bench ruminating over those missed opportunities in the first half. There were a couple of runouts where he and Nice got in behind. Really should have carved out at least a better opportunity, if not a goal. St. Louis player collapsing to the turf there. That was Carlock. Back up to his feet now, but struggling a little bit on the left side. Now they switch it over this way, does North Texas. Nice. Shifty. Has Charles. Back post ball. Nobody home for North Texas. Another fine display from the North Texas number 10, Edouard Nice, but he won't be adding. Doesn't look to the league-leading goal and assist tally. So many good moments of build-up that the last action has been missing. You look at what's coming up next for both of these teams. North Texas stays on the road. They will travel to face Vancouver. That is in 2 weeks' time. And strangely enough, that will be their only match in June. They will be off the rest of the month before opening their new home stadium, Mansfield Stadium, on July 4th against CITY2. There will only be one game in between when they face this team again. I'm sure there will be a lot of opportunities to break down everything they have created in this match and why it hasn't quite come off. Sedeh trying to add to the clips. Good ball-winning challenge. Palmer Alt helping out at the edge of his own box. For St. Louis, their next match on the road against Colorado Rapids 2. That is next weekend. Then they will have a week off. Talking to Dan Critchley, the way that he likes to divvy up the season and break it up into 5-game blocks. They've already had 2 of those blocks. And then you add in today's match, and this is the 3rd of 4 before that off week. So he said they'll just turn that into a 4-game block. Shot coming in, pawed away by Demora. Cornelius with the shot. And now we will get another sub for CITY2. And they will bring on another one of the under-16s. This will be Blake Wilson replacing Evan Carlock, the man who created the first goal for St. Louis. Wilson, a 16-year-old academy product who has been called in to the United States under-15 and under-16 national team, both last season. They're one of the talented attackers coming through the ranks. Steering inside, deflected shot. Demora picks up another save. He may have given up 2 goals here, but it would be a lot worse if not for the efforts of the North Texas goalkeeper. Averages 3.4 saves per match, and that number is certainly going to go up after today. Foot affirmatively still on the gas for St. Louis. Alt into the channel. Gets around his defender. Went for the shot himself. Wilson was lurking inside the 6-yard box. Another corner for CITY2. Badehan. Gans. North Texas unable to break out. Gonsalves was interested in a forward run. Pearson settling on the ball, swinging it left to right. Lynch taking his time. Niles. Badehan in a little bit of an uncomfortable and unfamiliar position out on the wing. Wasn't quite sure how to beat his man, so throw in coming for Niles and St. Louis CITY2. Yellow card dished out for taking too long on the throw in. That was given to Jack Wagner. Niles earns another corner. Gans. Niles. Unable to find Alt at the back post as we approach 3 minutes of second half stoppage time. St. Louis almost there, looking for its first win in over a month after a 4-game winless stretch that has included matches against 3 of the top 4 teams in the West. North Texas, the start to a sobering season continues. They're not able to find 2 goals here in the last couple minutes, then they will drop below 500 with just 1 more game to play before that long break. And so other teams will have a chance to jump them in the standings where they are already in 9th. Niles going in full throttle. A little too aggressive, but you can understand some of these teenagers getting a chance to play in front of the fans. Juiced up to make a pro appearance for their hometown club. Cornelius. Asked John Gall this week if he thought that his team's 4-4-4 record coming into this match was a good reflection of how the season has gone so far. You know, was it fair on how his team has played? And he was very open about the fact that somebody told him that before the season. Ooh, that is a strong challenge from Alvaro. Through the back of Kraus. Free kick coming here in the dying moments for St. Louis. But John Gall said if you told him before the season his team would be 4-4-4 after 12 matches, he would not have accepted that. And even though they've had to fight through some difficult circumstances this year, through injuries, through decisions, through giving away some games that he didn't feel like they deserved, he doesn't want to accept that record now either. May drop even further after another failure to win in St. Louis. Played short. Badejan trying to continue it on through the middle, but Alt was closely watched. There will be one more exciting piece of action this weekend, though, for St. Louis, as their under-19s compete in the MLS Next Cup final out in Salt Lake City against Columbus. That match taking place tomorrow evening. So anybody who is tapping in, who may typically be watching the first team or just tuning in for second team games, and you're a St. Louis fan, definitely keep an eye on that one. For the first time since April 26th, St. Louis City 2 back in the victory column. A decisive win against North Texas SC as they improve to 7-2-4 on the season. An own goal from Gonçalves, followed by a dazzling second from Makai Joyner. And this match finishes 2-0 at full time. Our man of the match is none other than Joyner, the St. Louis City 2 standout and the second all-time leading scorer in MLS Next Pro. He is just a different level, and he showed it on this goal. Our man of the match presented by Adidas. Let's take another look at that second tally with Joyner finding DeGans and then floating off of Alt. And how about the finish at the end? But that wasn't even the best part. Just wait till you see the celebration. Makai Joyner peeling off, rounding off, and flipping in to a big win for City 2. A very strong performance at Energizer Park as City 2 round off the month of May with a win against the rivals in North Texas. Well, for our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, my name is Parker Johnson. Once again, our final score is St. Louis 2, North Texas 0. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball. Have a great rest of the night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.